theft, money forwarding, online auction fraud, e-fencing, freight forwarding, check fraud, phishing, lotteries, bust-out schemes, embezzlements, and every scam you can think of, and identity theft. We've probably got 600 cases that are currently sitting on our desk in a pile waiting for the statute of limitations to run out. We'll never get to half of them. We take a priority. If the suspect in the case lives in Danbury, we take the lead in the investigation. If the victim lives in Danbury, we assume a support role. Has anybody here ever been the victim of an identity theft?
Sort of.
You have a friend over.
I sold Mike's identity. I brought a few of the. bought a few of the expanded FTC. This is the one that we give out to victims, because everything about how to deal with identity theft is in here. The other handout is basically a how to avoid it, and that's what I'm going to try and do today, is just give you a handle on how not to be sitting in front of my desk telling me that you want me to take your case because your identity has been used. And I would almost be willing to bet that with the amount of people that are here right now, 2 of you may be identity theft victims and not know it. Just basically 3 identity theft situations. 2 of them, the most common, is what we call a true name identity theft, and those are the kind that people don't find out about. They don't find out about it until they go to buy a house and they get a bad credit report. They don't find out about it until somebody comes looking for them because they didn't pay their taxes. True identity thief, true identity theft, he is actually working. They're taking the withholding out of his paycheck. They're taking his Social Security out of his paycheck. He is that person. He gets credit cards. He pays his bills. It's going to go on and on and on until some event leads you to find out that that's happening. Your defense against that is to get your annual credit report. Read it carefully and see who has checked against your credit. And if somebody there checked your credit and you don't know who they are, or you don't know why, because you haven't applied for anything, you're probably an identity theft victim. And I can almost guarantee it. With this number of people, 2 of you are. The account takeover is different. An account takeover, you find out about those pretty quickly, because what happens there is they assume your identity, and if you have MasterCard with, let's say, Citibank, using your identification information, they just notify MasterCard or Citibank that you've moved, and this is your new address. The bills start going there. They're using your charge card. They're not paying the bills. They'll open a new charge card, but they're not paying the bills. So that type doesn't last long. Where a true identity theft will take years to uncover, an account takeover usually only takes about less than a year. Diving, people do dumpster diving. If you don't shred your stuff, you got a problem. Somebody's going to get it. Somebody down at AWD. As a matter of fact, we're looking for somebody right now who worked at AWD because he wasn't who he said he was.
Not the guy in the house arrest?
Huh? No. No, it wasn't the one.
He's at the top of the food chain. So he's the mother-in-law. Yeah, he's the mother-in-law. He's the mother-in-law.
And, you know, this is different from regular credit card theft. Okay? Credit card theft's another thing. I mean, we've got a couple of Chinese restaurants in town who we've had skimmers. if you don't know what a skimmer is, it's about the size of a pack of chewing gum. Holds it in his hand. You give him your credit card at the table. On the way up to the cashier, he runs it through his hand. He now has all the information on the back of that credit card. We had, in one of the cases, I think we had 175 victims in a one-week period.
The one over in the
Taipei, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Okay. And the guy that used to own Taipei, Tokyo, he sold it. But Sam, the owner, was fantastic. And he was able to give us enough information so that we did get that guy. Your carelessness, but the most common thing, and this is the one that I want to make sure I get through to you today. Mail theft and all of those, fine. Shoulder surfing, what we call shoulder surfing is, you know, when you're in the keypad and somebody, okay, and we've had cases in Danbury, you wouldn't believe. One of the common things is to slip a piece of celluloid into the ATMs. You put your card in. It won't register, you won't have a transaction, but your card won't come back up. So you leave figuring, well, I'll call the bank tomorrow. After you leave, somebody walks in, they've got the little mechanism that allows them to go into the thing and pull the card back out. Not only do they have the card, they got your PIN number because they were watching it. Now, the most common thing is what we call social engineering. Today, we can get on a computer, or we can call you up on the phone, or we can send you a letter, and you will give us all of your information. Social engineering is a con. Okay? Somebody will give you enough information about you so that you think you know who you're talking to. You don't. And that's the key. If you want to prevent yourself from being a victim of any of these scams, do you know who you're talking to? One of the ways you can do that is don't answer any questions on the phone. Tell them to mail it to you. You'll get back to them. Tell them to give you a phone number. You'll get back to them. After they hang up, check the phone number. Does the phone number come back to the person you were talking to? Your emails, your phishing, okay? Some of it, you get a thing from Joe, the safety or security man at 1-800 Citibank or whatever. Pull down your headers on your email. Forget about what it says on the top. Go to the header information. Find the IP address, the originating IP address. Take that number off. It's like 123.123.123.123. It always has that kind of number. It says originating XIP. Go to Google. Type in who is. What'll come up is a bunch of sites that will allow you to check an IP address to find out what server it hit. So, okay, the guy said he's emailing you from Massachusetts. Run the IP address. It comes back to Sweden, Canada, Nigeria. Nobody there is in Massachusetts. Know who you're talking to.